after you said you left art, you know what I mean? You developed into a chef and you found your way. And now you transition into to getting manager positions from working as an assistant to now you're a manager. What was that transition like?
All right. So first of all, right, before we get any further, so up until I was doing commis chef at our level 2, I had no clue what food was. Right. I wasn't exposed to it still. Right. Doing hands-on training by the hotel and stuff like that. I remember once, you know, like, and this goes back to what we were talking about a while ago. About limiting, and our teachers, our masters who are supposed to be teaching us have limited understanding, right?
Right.
I remember when I did breakfast, right? First thing, I got a recipe: grilled bacon and eggs.
Right.
So whenever I look on a recipe, just say, all right, bam, 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 and put the bacon on the grill. Right? And then I say, I get the perfect grill mark and shit like that. Right. And the teacher deal with me so bad. I felt so bad. Like, if you ever go to the hotel and grill no bacon, well, laugh them with a laugh off for you.
Oh, man.
If I do that again, and, you know, and now, as exposed as I am, I'm like, that was my first level of creativeness.
Right. Because you were exploring and trying to step outside of the norm.
Yeah, I was thinking about, everybody ever use the grill. May I grill it and get the grill mark and everything.
Right.
You know, but that does show you, not just at school, like in every school, right, in Jamaica, our poor parents kill the passion, they kill the creativeness, they kill the openness of chefs who is coming up, and not just chefs, doctors, lawyers, everybody, you know?
Right.
And that's a thing that I see is a big strain on our culture as well. Right, but however, I'm doing the commis chef. I was just cooking. I was good with flavors because I was, I work a couple cook shop before. Right. You know, Rastaman, you cook for Jamaica and the flavor on point.
Yeah, you got to be on point with that.
Flavor. Right. So I went to Royal Plantation. Right, and there I met Gian Stewart.
Yeah, that's my guy right there. Actually, me and Gian went to high school together, you know.
Okay.
Me and Gian went to high school together, and then after we left high school, he went to another school, which was Happy Grove. And then when I got to Hart, me and him ended up in the same dorm.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So I know him. He's a really good cook, man. He can do his thing. Yeah. Really, really good.
So at that point now, Royal Plantation at that time was the creme de la creme.
Oh, yeah.
You know? So, I mean, watching this guy on the range in the world, like, everything changed from me there. Like, that's where I start dreaming. That's where I fall in love with cooking.
Right.
Because remember, initially, I just did it because it's the only profession to hide my scar.
Right.
So that was my turning point where I started to love cooking. Right? So at one point I could have played, like I played the ugliest type of food. Right? So every night in practice and Gian would be like, yo, that's ugly.
Oh yeah, he one of them people are gonna tell you straight up to you though.
Yeah, so I mean I keep working and I mean right now I see a lot of persons love how you plate food and stuff like that, and it's not something natural. Like you have to work at it. You have to. I mean, for some people it may be natural,
right.
But for me, I had to put in the work for it. Even the speed in the kitchen, it was something that at one point I was trying to work fast, and people used to laugh at me.
Right.
The man, he might kill up himself, and them send me for the rice. I move fast. because I want to be fast.
Right.
So, I mean, it's work, right? Me growing now, working with chef, I was this quick person. I just want to see you do it once.
Right.
Capture it. Like, it's game over. Right? Secondly, me growing as a manager, I remember working at Rocco, right? At the time, Volley Williams.
Yeah. That's another one of my good friends.
Supervisor for the French restaurant there.
Right.
For me, as a chef, as a young chef growing up, always watch what the senior chef do and try to emulate. Right? Anybody in any position, right? Always watch and so if me see the executive chef do something today, tomorrow I'm not give me the opportunity.
You're gonna do it first.
Come check the fridge log. Like 8 o'clock. 7:45, never do it. So when him come, I say, chef, it done already, man.
That's a good move right there.
So, I remember once I went to the French restaurant here and I saw Volley clean out the walk-in fridge. I'm like, oh, that's what a supervisor do. You know? So the next day in my kitchen, because I was by the main kitchen.
Right.
You know, the walk-in fridge, you know? So I mean, stuff like those always, you know, watching and wanting, you know. I always tell people, if you want to be an executive chef, start acting like an executive.
Definitely.
Put yourself in the role from early. So when the transition is made, you're prepared.
Definitely.
So, growing, I started with sports bars, small restaurants as an executive chef. My first lesson was that, you know, you have to have dominance in the kitchen as a chef.
Right.
Because when I started as a leader, like set on paper and stuff, you know, the guys, may I try to be them brother, may I try to be them friend, you know?
Yeah, that's not going to work.
It never worked.
No.
Right? And there was once, the first supervisor job that I get was so intense. Right? Because I wanted to make my mark. And two, you know, I'm a responsible person. So I'm putting this responsibility of it done. You know? So when I left, I asked the guy, like, how is that chef that you're working with? Compare him to me. What's the edge? You know?
Right.
Of course, everybody respect my work. But my leadership was like, Alex, man, we don't do things and get away with it from me. You know? But the man is stern, so I like him go on the kitchen. That feedback had changed because then I realized, yeah, you have to be sharp. Your friend, but you have to be sharp when it comes on to discipline and, you know.
Right.
As a chef also, when me go in at the chef office, right? And me see a little piece of paper upon him deck. Whether it is some system where I'm right, some checklist, some something. Is either I'm going to take a picture, or I beg a copy, or I try to get a copy. I'm going to store them, because I know say one day I'm going to need stuff like these.
Right.
And I mean, stuff like that set me in the right direction and enable for when the opportunities come, I'm prepared, you know?
Right.
So, working and being a manager, the saddest thing about the industry is the mindset of the person coming in it. You know, and the intelligence level. I mean, I tell a lot of my staff, right? Up until I was in 7th grade, I couldn't read the clock properly. Right? I couldn't read in 10th grade. Right? I wasn't the brightest. I'm still not the brightest.
Right.
I have the will to get it done.
Definitely.
and the thinking level. And I realized I wasn't the brightest because I wasn't interested in that. But however, persons coming in the industry with very low intelligence level, and they're not being guided right, and they deplete the industry in Jamaica.
Right.
They have the ability, they have the talent, but their mindset is very low. Once them get a paycheck, them good, and stuff like that. Deplete professional chef rapport.
Right.
And it has a great impact. The other days, couple times while I worked in hotel, and the mindset is what always is. It's like if you go to a guy and you say, hey, you should go to school, and you try to mold them, it's like
they don't want that.
Yeah, all a gun to them head, like
right.
Tell them to do that for that. That make no sense.
It's perception, you know what I mean? It boils down to like I'm saying, most of these people nowadays are not seeing, like, for instance, you see a chef now, the furthest you're gonna see, like most of these chefs in Jamaica, most of the chefs that I know when I was coming up in the industry, they still doing the same thing. There's absolutely none of these chefs are stepping outside the box. Every single one of them, all the chefs you can think of. And I know some people may be mad when I say it, but it's the truth. They're not involving. They're not involving. All they do is they go, they take a position, they hold the gate, and they let who they want to let in. And none of them evolving. And the youths are seeing this, and it's like they don't see nothing to chase. You know what I mean? They're not making it exciting for the younger generations, because it's not like when I started out, we were passionate about it. But these young people now, they're distracted by Instagram and Facebook, and they're about the hype and the look and the feel. You know what
definitely.
I mean? So if you're not changing, even the schools got to do that. You have to change the way you're doing things. You can't expect to have the same system and have a difference in it. The results, it's not going to work.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? And like I said, man, I just want to see these people just observe what's going on.
I'm going to use this platform to say something, right?
Yeah.
Because I've been talking about it with a lot of chefs, right? And we want to go into that. I want to use this platform also.
Right.
Talk about a lot of chefs that I respect.
Right. Definitely. We could do a part on that.
Particular reason, right? For me, respect is a big thing, right? But regarding to the industry, I mean, I think, as you said, as you touch on the point, the older chef, I would love for us who's coming up, and even older chef who's seeing this now and as a voice and as care and as passion, is that first thing we think about ourselves and ourselves only.
Right.
Not the generation to come, not leaving a legacy behind. When Christopher Columbus and those guys go around and conquer the world, they realize that the only thing them are left behind is when them dead is them legacy. And I think older chefs were really put in the work, but as the mindset kind of differ them from getting the respect that they deserve.
Right.
I mean, for the future, I would love to see regulations going in place for the industry on a whole, right? So in terms of somebody's going to home or a restaurant, they has to do certain level of tests before. Like, regulations has to be in place, because opening a restaurant from just being a stockbroker, you need to understand, say, your chef are working at eat, him go be fatigued, how to rest him, There is critical things that restaurant owners just force down on a chef, or even hotel owners, without even understanding
the dynamics of how it works.
And it then damps on the profession, and the next thing is that where rules and regulations are not in place, you just have people just pop up and say, oh, they're a chef, or they're a caterer, or they're this. I mean, I believe the world and move to a more professional edge, right? And regulations for our industry, especially in Jamaica. I don't know what the rest of the world is doing, but I think for the industry, regulation need to start going to place. Because a man can't just get up and say, oh, him is a doctor. He might go a court fee, right? And I mean, it's full time. We as chefs get that same respect because we are doctors. We are everything.
Right.
Basically, you get me I say? So, and when you cook food, you play with people's life as well.
Right, because you can make them sick.
There's so much to it whereas, we need to stand up and find a platform and get the support of the government to start regulate stuff where a man can just open a restaurant so he have to get a license. And within the license now create more understanding for him. And that is why you have so much restaurants that open and close. And so much chefs get fatigued. So much restaurant owners are lose trust in a chefs because them don't know how to use an executive chef or them don't know the value of an executive chef. Like a lot of restaurants now operate without an executive chef because them don't see the need, because you have man who say them a chef, right, without proper training. And then you have a restaurant now, have a chef and don't know what the chef must do.
Right.
You can't have a chef and your chef a cook. Or you might be able to know to check off the goods to make sure somebody. You have a chef. Your chef have to work on the line 24/7, and yes, still you say things are missed. And so there's critical stuff like that where we really have drastic butterfly effect on the industry.
Right.
And we need to find a way to try and create a platform for start put some regulations in place, or we need somebody to get up and do it. For the love of the industry, that's at the core. Like, me now say this to say, they will try do it. If somebody do it, I know say it will be the best thing for the industry, and the industry need it. I mean, and even you have federations in Jamaica, and it would be an advantage for them to evolve the industry in Jamaica as well, because if they are able to charge people to do the test online to get their license, right? Collect fees and stuff like that.
Right.
That money can be pumped into keeping into inventive conventions, right? Where a man can have him product and him come display it. I mean, I see a lot of international countries do that. They have conventions where their people display inventions and creations and new directions and stuff like that, so that we can rise together, as Jamaicans, as black people, we can stamp the mark, we can make things more known as a unit. And you are trying the good, me I try the good, and that's where it stops. Everybody have to just come together. We're passionate about it, And funny enough, there's a lot of chefs when me talk to and I say, yo, we want the industry to get to that level. And they're like, oh, you look at that you want, I just want more girls. And I'm like, yo, Dano.
It's some people don't have no vision, but it is something that, and I strive by this. I used to be one of them people who's curse people out all the time. You know what I mean? Anybody that in Jamaica that know me, they know me. I'm a no nonsense type of guy. And if I have something to say, I'm gonna say it. But I realize that that's not the right approach. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being aggressive won't get anything done. So what you do is you have to structure yourself. Okay, if you want change, you have to be the change that you want to see. And that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to create this platform where we can put people on who are passionate about their skills, and we can own our brands and own our talent and own our craft. And now we can market that. We can put a package together and we can market that. Because I realize that if you're not recognized outside of Jamaica, the Jamaica don't recognize you.
Yeah.
So if you want to have something to say or people to take you serious, You got to step outside of Jamaica, get yourself known, and come back. And then they'll not even listen to you. They just want to try to use you as much as they can. You know what I mean? They want you to come cook for free and take pictures with them and this promotional stuff. You know what I mean? Which is a good thing, But like I'm saying, when you see you have talented people around, you have to encourage them, you have to build them, and you have to listen, because you look at that, you got a good idea, and maybe somebody out there would listen. Hopefully somebody can hear it. I'm gonna cut this portion up and I'm gonna put it up. But I want to ask you a question. Let's get into the food a little bit. What would you consider your cooking style to be?
Well, my cooking style, I haven't really found a name for it yet.
Right.
But I mean, it's as they said, soul food.
Right, soul food. Right? So it's like soul Caribbean.
To be honest, after losing my mom, I lose everything. The passion is just really trying to build back, And then with the hurt of the industry, everything was lost on.
Right.
But if the food is a thing of understanding. And my type of food is I love authentic Jamaican.
Right.
I find myself as a foodie. I love food. So I have to exercise a lot to keep the weight up.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, well, go ahead.
Hey, my family, all right, in April this year, I lost a brother, right? From stroke, right? This is a guy who traveled to China regular, eat cockroach, frog. He's just a foodie, right? He's into exquisite food. He's into exotic food, And I just realized that the culture of my family is that we all love food. My sisters, my brothers, everybody love food, right? So most of the time, I just think about stuff that I love and how creative I can get with it.
Right.
So recently I developed a style where I start with some seasoning and I finish. So I would call it like a reverse type of vibe. So because flavor levels go up and it dies with the heat and all of that. So
right.
Let's say I'm cooking some curry goat, for example. I will start with like 20% of the seasoning. After the goat done cook down and everything, right before the end, I try to add fresh scallion, thyme, fresh scotch on it, because me love the pop of those ingredients, when you bite on the crunch, the texture, all of that. So it's kind of a reverse method with modern elevation of Jamaican food,
Right.
Me didn't think me I do some crazy stuff till me see a post the mackerel dish.
Oh,
I was like,
I want to tell you something. There's a reason I did that. I actually made those dishes because I want people to realize that you don't. I
love it, man.
Listen. Actually, I had some more stuff. I just don't post them. I have so much Jamaican, just like traditional stuff. Just definitely. Play around with flavors and presentation.
You said something earlier. We should go and get the exposure and then, infuse it.
Right. The techniques, mainly the techniques.
Yeah. For me, I don't leave Jamaica. Like, I don't know what going on. Them now.
In time, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Don't worry about it.
Them now free me up.
Right.
So it's not a matter of can't move or, it's just that them now free me up. Right. And you know what I mean?
Right.
So I have to do a lot of research and, play around with stuff and, but there was one point I felt like I'm a seed and needed to grow, but I need to get covered in the right dirt, you know? And it's like, I'm not see it in Jamaica because, like, at one point, I feel stifled, like, there's no guidance. Who are the exec chef who can guide me down the power more for go,
Right.
So, that is very important as well. the greatest thing is that we have the internet now and research stuff. And the core of my work is based on research. And,
you know what? I'm gonna say something in regards to what you said, right? And like I said, I spent majority of my time in Jamaica. I moved there about probably 7 years ago, or probably a little bit more. It did open my eyes when I moved here in terms of to make me understand that there's a lot more that you can get, you can learn. But back to what I was saying earlier, there is a lot of dishes now that I want to create, but I don't have the ingredients because the ingredients are in Jamaica. If you can take the time, there's this web on YouTube. There's this YouTube channel called Sosa Ingredients. It's a company that makes like molecular gastronomy ingredients, right? If you go on their page, they have tons of recipes and tons of videos of techniques. The only thing that I think Jamaican and the Caribbean people need are techniques because they know flavor. Yeah. A lot of them know flavor, not everybody, but most of them know flavor. Yeah. So if you can get the techniques, you can take
Sosa.
Yeah, SOSA, Sosa. You know what I mean? And then what another thing that people can do is you start, instead of following a bunch of people not doing nothing for your life, start following chefs that you see doing something. If you start following one chef, they're going to suggest other chefs to follow. And every time you see a chef that's something interesting, you just keep following them.
As you touch on that, right? When Instagram started, that was my core. Just a follow things that we can learn from.
Right.
You know, I only followed like international chefs and stuff like that. But you know, growing in the public figure, I mean, so much person took offense that, me follow my back. You know?
Right.
And, you know, and it creates an impression. People judge me, say, I and all of that, when really and truly it's just an intention.
Right.
Get me? And, I mean, I suffered in many ways regards to that, you know, mentally, you know, the perception where a lot of persons have on me, just because of how my mentally think. You know, so, as I tell you, earlier I spend a lot of alone time, so I love that. So, rather for just be by myself, and sometimes people say, we do this now, we do that now, and me kind of say, no, man, very, and, you know, them take offense to it, greatly. Right. So, I try to be more social, you know, try to be more interactive, and, you know, but, I mean, you're so right. You have to program your mind to where you want to achieve, you know, but very few people understand that. And
but you see,
if you're not careful or do it right way, it creates a certain perception where you don't really want people to have. You know?
Right.
Not that you live for people, but at the end of the day, you know, you still want to build a connection with, you know. So,
right.
I mean, it's a very smart choice, very smart way. You know,
yeah, man. Because like I said, man, I'm no different from nobody on the island. I'm no different from you. I'm no different. I don't have more intelligence than nobody. The only thing I do is I'm passionate about what I do. And I spend a lot of time to research stuff that I don't know. Like I can list a lot of ingredients. Like I told you earlier, ingredients, I can tell you about cooking method when it comes to bacon, because I'm not a great cook. But when it comes to bacon, I can explain every ingredient that I use. I know how they work, under what temperature and circumstance. If you bring a cake to me, I can tell you what you did wrong. And that's what I study. When I was in art, I used to do the same thing. I used to just study it. I want to tell you when to turn the oven on, how long it takes to eat, how the circulation of the heat works, what method of baking you use. Because some people feel like I said, I was talking to somebody on another podcast, and I was telling them that some people just bake everything at 350. That's not how it works. You know what I mean? You know, 350 is like the temperature for every bacon. And when somebody say bake something, what temperature? 350. You know what I mean?
But they don't know that the temperature is different in France or in Italy.
Yeah, like humidity. It depends on the humidity. It depends on the height. What you call that, man? Altitude. You know what I mean? Even ingredients. You can have a recipe that works in America, and if you get the same ingredients in Jamaica, it's not going to work. Some people don't know, like a baking powder, simple baking powder, right? The baking powder that we use, there's two types of baking powder. You have double action and single action. Now, what that means is the double action works twice. The first time it activates is in water. The second time it activates is in heat. Majority of the baking powder we use in Jamaica is double action. But if you're not reading the label, you wouldn't know that because, so you put it in the pan and you realize it starts to bubble because it's working with the liquid. And then when you put it in the oven, it activates again. You know what I mean? People don't know that you can make cakes without eggs. You can make cakes without flour. You can.
Yeah. Yeah.
But like I said, we'll go on and on, man. Like I said, but I want to thank you again for coming on to the program. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate you and what you're doing. And I want to tell you something, man. Stop thinking about what people got to feel and what people got to say. What you should do is with where you're at mentally, because this is my first time talking to you. Where are you at mentally? It's okay to be different because different is what stands out. If you're the same, if you're acting the same, you're going to blend in. When you're different, you're going to stand out. And when you stand out, that means you're doing something good. So just always remember that, man. Don't worry about people. Stay focused on what you're doing. Keep pushing. Because guess what's going to happen? The same people that may think this today, when you get to the place that you want to get to, they're going to be the same ones saying hip hip hooray.
Yeah. That's true. That's true.
You know what I mean? But like I said, thank you again for coming on. This is, you know what? Tell them where they can find you on Instagram and your business, and just tell us a little bit about what you do, because you never told us that. So you have a company that you do catering and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
all right. So currently, I started, I think, curry goat and roti Friday.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Try to make it a holiday.
Right.
I do private dining.
Right.
I do tycoon wedding, function, plated, buffet. But I'm diverse.
Right.
I still do what they would say, small functions, everything. I try to,
you cover everything.
Diverse. I don't limit my options.
Right.
So I'm just working currently with just Alex the Great.
Right. So you're building your brand. Your brand is Alex the Great.
Yeah.
Right.
Alex D-Great, right?
And where they can find you on Instagram?
Instagram, Alex the Great, J-A.
Okay.
.J-A.
So Alex, which is ALEX, and then you put a D. D-E or just a D?
D as in dog.
Yeah. And then
Great.
Right. J-A.
.J-A, yeah.
Okay. All right, guys. So like I said, you can check out Alex and see what is going on. Support him as much as you can. Show him as much love, because we need all the love in the world now. Alex, thank you for coming on again. Have yourself a good one. It's the Pastrybear Podcast, and we're out.
Pastrybear TV. Big up.